A bond is not a payment, it is a guarantee put up by a bail's bondsman. Another common one is I plead the fifth, such as Suits as well as Yellowstone is eminent domain. In the US, in certain shows such as Lincoln Lawyer, you would see them refer to or hear them refer to a docket. Another common term is reading your rights. Because there are so many things that are similar and different between our system and the American system, we'll divide this video into three parts. The first part will deal with people that are part of the court process and that are in court. The second one will deal with documents and procedures. And then the third one will deal with the most common aspect of crimes, the different names that we use for the same concepts or different concepts. The next group of differences are related to documents and processes. The first, which you'd hear quite often on American shows and American movies, is a bond. A bond is not a payment, it is a guarantee put up by a bail's bondsman, and this ensures that if you do not appear in court and stay in attendance until the matter is done, that amount will have to be paid by the bail bondsman. Usually what then is required is that you pay a certain fee or deposit to the bail bondsman in order for them to put up the guarantee, usually around 10%. In South Africa, we have bail. When bail is set at 100,000 rands, at 10,000 rands, you need to pay the full amount before you get your release. A bond or guarantee is not sufficient and it's not going to work. So in South Africa, we use bail. In the US, they may use bond. Another common one is I plead the fifth. In the US, the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution is actually a bundle of rights. It includes things like not giving self-incriminating evidence, the right to have a grand jury if you're facing serious crimes such as capital murder, and a whole bundle of other rights. In South Africa, the Fifth Amendment is something quite different. It's usually related to elections as well as the Financial and Fiscal Commission. So referring to the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution in South Africa and referring to the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution in the US as two totally different things. However, the right to remain silent and the right not to give self-incriminating evidence is a right that we do have in our Bill of Rights in Section 35 of our Constitution. We just do not call it the Fifth Amendment or plead the fifth for obvious reasons. Another term which was made popular by shows such as Suits as well as Yellowstone is eminent domain. This is the power of the state to take land from an individual or group or an organization without having to have an agreement with that person or that group. This is usually with compensation, but they can take it whether you like it or not. In South Africa, we have the same concept. We just call it expropriation. One of the terms which is exactly the same but means something totally different is docket. In the US, in certain shows such as Lincoln Lawyer, you would see them refer to or hear them refer to a docket, which would mean the court file or the file that the court is using. However, in South Africa, the docket refers to the file that the police compile during the investigation, something that you do get access to eventually, but the court file is something quite separate from the docket, whereas in the USA, it seems that the docket is indeed the court file. Another common term is reading your rights or your Miranda rights. In South Africa, we've got almost exactly the same thing. We just don't call them Miranda rights and we don't call it reading your rights. The process is more or less the same. At your arrest, slightly before your arrest or as soon as reasonably possible thereafter, the police will inform you of what your rights are as an accused, an arrested or a detained person. In South Africa, you'll also be requested to sign a form that will be translated to you in the language of your choice, if it's reasonably possible, and then you'll get to keep a copy and the police will get to keep a copy. And the last one is a continuance. A continuance is essentially an adjournment or postponement of a matter, meaning that it can't proceed at this particular time. In South Africa, we simply refer to it as a postponement.